I'll tell you what. Yeah, I appreciate that message very much. As you're all on the altar. All right, brother Antonio, you ready?
Yes, brother, I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Living Hope. I want to thank Jesus this morning and thank my pastor, thank all the leadership from Living Hope. I'm so blessed to share on a little bit the word of God with you this morning. And we're going to see, thank you, Sister Gibson, for the word that she just bring to us this morning. And I think we're going to continue the same thing. Pastor asked me to teach about this subject this morning, the sacrifice. We have, I find a lot of type of sacrifice that the people of God that they bring before God. So we're going to see not all, some of we're going to see this morning. And I know for sure that in our life today is apply for us, not just for the people of God before. This the word of God is applied for us today too. So we're going to see the word of God. I'm going to uh, uh, we're going to read in the book of Leviticus, chapter 6, verse 9. The word of God says, like, command Aaron and his son, saying, this is the law of the burnt offering. It is the burnt offering because of the burnt offering the altar all night unto the morning, and the fire of the altar shall be burned in it. We see, we see over here, the people of God, they bring their best before God. And if they bring their best, the people from the Old Testament, they bring their best before God. And says if the burnt offering is an act of worship or express their devotion or commitment to God, that's the burnt offering means. It's an act of worship, express devotion or commitment to God. This is what the burning offering means. So if the people of God before, or the people of God in the Old Testament, they bring offering of worship, offering to express their devotion to God, or commitment themselves to God. There is a question for us this morning. Do we really, when we come to worship God, do we really bring our worship from the bottom of our heart, of just of here to our God? God asks us to bring our real worship. And this is not just a worship just because I know how to sing. This is even if I don't know how to sing, but if there is something from the bottom of my heart, God needs us to do today, to bring our offering of worship before Him, but not just any song, but God needs us from here, from our heart. I think us today, not over here, not just in the U.S., all around the world, I think most of us, we've been lost our worship before God. We just sing a song, but it's not come from here. And God this morning asked us to sing, but from the bottom of our heart and just do a commitment with him. I know it's not easy for us to do a commitment with God. What does that mean? What's that mean, commitment? Commitment, when God used our pastor to ask us to pray, to fast. I know it's not easy. For me, it's not easy to fast. It's not easy to pray. But if I made a commitment with God, I can do that because I make a commitment with God, not with Living Hope, not with my pastor, not with the leadership of Living Hope. I do a commitment with God. And I think each one of us, we need to do a commitment with God. The book of John, chapter 14, verse 21 says, if that had my commandment and keep them, he it is that love me, and the love me shall be loved my Father, and I will love him, and I will manifest myself to him. So if I say I love God, I need to keep his commandment. I need to do what God asked me to do if I love him. So if we love him, we need to keep his commandment. As the people, like the people from the Old Testament, they bring the offering before God. If we obey God, that's the type of our offering before God, before Jesus. If we love him, we need to obey him. It's not easy to obey the word of God. It's so easily for us to do what we want to do. But once God asks us to do something, it's not feeling okay. But if that's the word of God, I need to fit in the word of God. I need to stay in the word of God. But sometimes it's easy for me to stay away from the word of God. We need to do that. There is another sacrifice that says, the book of Leviticus chapter, the sacrifice of peace. We know that the sacrifice of peace, the Leviticus chapter 3, verse 9 says, if he shall offer of the sacrifice of peace offering, and an offering made by fire unto the Lord, the fat thereof, and the whole rump of shall he take off the heart by the backbone, and the fat that covered the inward, and all of the fat that it is open the inward. Once again, we can see over here, if the people from the Old Testament, if they need peace in their heart, they need to bring something before God, but not just something like it's not good anymore. They bring the best one. And God asked them to bring the best offering. They offering an offering because they want a peace. That's why this offering called the peace of offering. And us, as a Christian, this day, we need a peace sometimes in our heart. And we don't need to bring any more like offering. We have. Jesus says in his words, he is the Prince of Peace. If we believe that, we don't need to bring an offering. We just need to come close to him, and we find on him the peace that we need. I think all of us, Sometimes we need peace in our heart. And where we going? When looks like there is no peace almost everywhere. But sometimes I think we're looking for a peace that in the wrong place. We need to look the peace where the peace is, which is in Jesus. We need him. He is the Prince of Peace. If he said in his word, I trust in the word of God, I need to come before him. That's the people. He said in the book of Isaiah chapter 53 verse 5 says, but he was wounded for our transgression. He was bruised for our iniquities. He chastised our peace was upon him, in which his stripe we are healed. So if we need that, if we are sick, if we need peace, where are we going? Where are we going? Where we find? Sometimes if we are sick, the first thing that comes in our mind, we just, I'm going to see my doctor today. I'm not feel okay. Instead of came before Jesus, we're going to trust probably our good insurance, health insurance, what we have, instead of trust the word of God. If Jesus said in his word, I believe what he said. There is another offering that I find in the word of God. The offering of sin. Leviticus chapter 4 verse 3. Chapter 4 verse 3 says, if the priest that it is anointed to sin, do sin according to the sin of the people, then let him bring his sin which he had sinned, a young bull without blemish, until the Lord for a sin offering. Once again, the people, when they commit a sin, they need to bring an offering and sin offering before God. But you know what I find in the word of God? The people of God before in the Old Testament, they bring their offering. But this offering just for a year, just cover their sin for 1 year. So now we don't need to do this anymore. We don't need to bring offering before God every year. We don't need that anymore. Because somebody did that for us, and not just for 1 year. He did that for us forever. And I'm thank Jesus that he gave his life for us, not just for 1 year, and then we need to come back again. No, he did that for us forever. Like the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 3 to 4 says, but in those sacrifices, there is a remembrance again made of sin every year. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and the goats should take away this sin. Chapter 10 says, verse 10 says, but by the which will we are sacrificed through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. Just one time. He did one time for us. He did one time. We don't need to bring our offering every year. I think it's going to be so hard for us. And probably we're going to forget after year to bring again our offering if we still doing the same thing right now. But thank Jesus what he did for us. We don't need to come to bring our offering every year, because the people of in the Old Testament, they used to do that. But we are not to do that anymore. He's already did for us. And thanks Jesus what he did for us. If we see, brother and sister, everything what we saw over here and those sacrifice, they bring their best. And I pray that when we bring our sacrifice, I pray that I think God deserve the best from us. He deserves the best from us. And when we, probably if I pray, I'm just give my best to God. If I pray in the morning, why I'm not giving my best to God? If I'm fast that day, I'm just give my best to God. And that's all what I have for with today. And thank you very much. And I hope this word encourage each one of us. God bless you. God bless everybody.